Hello all, welcome back once again to another interesting episode under the Azadi Kamrat Mahasab story series by Momish Musings. Today I'm going to talk about a common man who has scripted a silent revolution in the book lovers world. He has changed an entire generation of Indians into book lovers and inculcated the reading habit in the next and younger generation as well. He is none other than Sri MN Rao Garu from MSCO books. Before we talk about him, as usual, let us first understand the situation in early 19th century, just before India got freedom. Though the printing technology has reached India in 15th century itself, the printing presses across pan India were more or less limited to printing pamphlets and the local newspapers, which spread the information about the freedom movement in those local areas. There were no popular book publishers or popular books that were published in the Indian languages, which the book lovers would like to pay and buy so that they can sit down and read. Though there are writers existing in the 19th century who were writing mostly on the freedom struggle, the impact of why we should be fighting, why we should be getting freedom, and there are certain fiction books that are coming up. Most of the people were not in a position to buy those books because of the economic conditions as well at that point of time. The only books that were getting published, if you want to term it as a books, are the in textbooks which are being used by different schools and different colleges, especially after the start of the vernacular language movement in the early 19th century. Most of the schools and colleges have taken the decision that they have to teach different subjects like mathematics, science, history, geography, or whatever it is in their vernacular languages. Till that point of time, most of the books were in English, and they were sourced again once again from the British Library from UK. So when the schools and colleges have started searching for the books in their vernacular languages, these printing presses, who were initially publishing only the pamphlets and newspapers, started taking up that new responsibility and started publishing textbooks in the different local languages like Bengali, Marathi, Hindi, Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, and stuff like that. And that is the time when MSCO was started by Sri M. Sheshachalam Garu, that is M. Madhu Sheshachalam Garu in Mashlipaట్నం, that is in the current Andhra Pradesh, small uh, town in the current Andhra Pradesh in 1923, and they used to publish more textbooks in Telugu, English, and Tamil at that point of time. See, Sheshachalam Garu used to travel all the way to Tamil Nadu to convince the uh, schools in and around Tamil Nadu. At that point of time, remember the Tamil Nadu and North Pradesh were not divided. They were all in the big united state. So that is the reason why he used to even publish books in Tamil, because again, one thing, it's all in the same state and people should shuffle from here to there and there to here, isn't it? And he used to also he was also started publishing some books in English for especially to ease the learning of English language, the grammar books and stuff like that, which were appreciated by the Britishers as well. But that was just their role. They were not going into the fiction books, in the biographies, or in non-fiction books, or any of other genre. They were only limited to publishing textbooks. And to ease the communication with Tamilians and to meet the stringent timelines in which these textbooks have to be published, they started open branch in the current Chennai, that is that days Madras, in the Paris corner, which is the business hub for the entire South India once upon a time in 1934. Then his M. Sheshachalam Garu's son, Sri MN Rao Garu, took over managing the Chennai branch in 1946. And from then onwards, there is really a new turn in the M. Sheshachalam and Co., that is MSCO's history, you can say, because that's when a new young and dynamic leader has taken over the control of their business empire. As soon as he stepped in, he understood that somewhere down the line, Indian state governments might take over the control of, publishing all the textbooks. So, if we only concentrate on publishing the textbooks, then our business will be at loss in future. With that in thought, he started looking out for other alliances across different publishers, and that's when South Indian Book Publishing Trust has come into help. Because to spread the awareness and to spread the richness of Telugu language, these people have started, translating autobiographies of 50 big, inspiring leaders, and they were looking for publishers who can publish these books in Telugu. And Sri MN Rao garu pitched in helping the publishing these books. Not only that, he has also introduced a new concept of bringing in readers on board in reviewing these books. He said that all these 50, if all these 50 books were read and reviewed by one single person, and then they will be getting a big prize of 500 rupees. Imagine, I'm talking about 1930s, where 500 rupees itself is a huge sum, isn't it? So it seems there are so many stories surrounding this initiative that people keep telling. It seems one old person, around 60, 65 years person, has traveled all the way from Nellore, which is around like 4 hours drive even by car in today's world. He came without any, major commuting channels at that point of time. He came all the way to Chennai to procure all these 50 books, and he had expressed his unhappiness to Sri MN Rao garu, saying that, these publishers, so many publishers are publishing these 50 autobiographies, and it's becoming difficult for me at this age to write to individually to each and every one of these publishers and ask them to send me the book, and then pay the money order, that is a wire transfer, the money to the respective publisher. So it was becoming a tedious task, and I'm not able to do. So that is the reason why I'm getting delayed in reading all these 50 books, though I have time to read and I have the appetite to digest all their autobiographies. This has set Sri M. N. Rao garu into a deep thought process, and from that thought process resulted his new brainchild, which is nothing but Andhra Pradesh Book Distributors entity, which was established in the year 1956 in the current Secunderabad. And this is a book distributing entity. That is the reason why I'm saying it's a book distributors entity. And in this branch, basically Secunderabad branch, the books of all publishers across India will be put on display and will be sold under the APBD, that is Andhra Pradesh Book Distributors Entity banner, and the profits go to the respective publishers. So it is the life of the book reader so much that they can just visit any APBD stall to procure whatever books they want. They don't have to write each and every publisher individual letters in asking for the books. And they have a huge list of books that are available across various publishers as a catalog in the APBD offices. Not only that, immediately next year he started a home library plan, which is famously called as HLP plan in the Telugu literary world, because this if people pay the monthly fees of around 90 rupees, then they'll get 4 books, and also one monthly free magazine, which will, and also the free catalog, which the APBD used to publish, listing on all the books across various publishers as a free copy. So with this, most of the readers were waiting eagerly for this free magazine, and they were getting all the information at one particular place, isn't it? And not only that, once when he has traveled during these 2 years between 1956 to 1957, once he was traveling to Delhi to for his official meetings, he happened to have completed all his books, which he normally carries forward in his train journeys, and he was not having any book. And at that point of time, there are no book nothing is there available on the railway platforms. If you have to buy a book, you have to get on the train, get into the local town, go search for a bookshop, get a book, and then only you can read. So this set him once again into thought process, and he started discussing with the political officials and Indian Railways, and then got permission for the people who can set up a stall where you can, nowadays you can see people selling newspapers, weeklies, business magazines, novels, and then some to do books, activity books for the kids and all that stuff, right? That is the brainchild of Sri M. N. Rao garu. So, which is the life of a traveler. The traveler need not have to sit in the train, get bored during the long journeys. Every station, every major station had these book distributions, book selling stalls or book distribution stalls, which earlier it used to be called as Higginbotham's, under the name of the Higginbotham's umbrella, which is there, the oldest shop, bookshop, which is there in Chennai. But nowadays, later the names got changed all over the places. But because of this, it gave livelihood to so many people who are really into books, who love reading books and love working in the literary world. It gave it employment for them, and it was actually saved a lot of people's lives as well with this new initiative. Yeah, and in this free magazine, which is called Pustaka Prapancham or the book world in English, comes a famous comic strip which you can, with every magazine, in which there are two famous characters. One is Swami Grandananda, which is called this, which you can roughly translate it to Swami of Books in English. And then Bakaya Sudu, which is you can call it as EMI monster or the loan monster. And this loan monster always comes and advises the reader, saying like you don't have to pay this month's EMI. You have more pressing problems of watching a cinema or going to a movie. I mean, paying the rent or buying provisions or going taking a medicine or a vaccine and stuff like that. He should always give him some problem so that the doesn't reader will not have more or will not have sufficient money to pay the EMI for this HLP plan. But whereas this Swami of books or Swami Grandananda is to come and advise in the end of the story, to come and advise the reader, saying that your brain will be filled with cobwebs if you don't have books in hand, and you will get only the books in hand if you subscribe to HLP. What an innovative thought, right? So people, especially the college-going kids and the high school kids, you should really wait for this Pustak Prapancham so that they can read this comic strip and discuss it in the colleges and their schools with their peers. Not only that, even the elders, in fact, everybody used to wait for these strips. And this free magazine used to contain so much of informative content, so many contests for the readers, so many different innovative ideas to engage the readers. They used to, with the help of this free magazine, he started the new initiatives of taking the market surveys. He started, I mean, he did the market surveys about to understand the reader's pulse of various books, how which books need to be published, which books need not be published, which is a good author, what was the good scene in the book. A lot of things he used to basically interact with all these readers. And behind all this effort of his, the brain work, he was doing more of the brain work, and the more of the desk job was being handled by his younger brother, who was managing their Machilipatnam office. Not only that, because of the results of the market surveys and everything, MSCO has also started a new plan called MSCO pocket books. Just like how our Milton Boone books or the famous five books for the kids are now a lot of books are coming up, are there, right? You don't see who is the author of the Milton Moon, but the moment you see the Milton Moon brand, all the teenage girls will fall in and go and buy that book and read. In the similar way, famous five books, we don't see who is the I mean, we just see, we don't even see that who is the what is the title of the story. We just see the famous five brand and go and get the books. In a similar way, MSCO has thought that why can't we introduce pocket books just with the brand name of MSCO pocket books? These readers should be able to buy. They shouldn't be judging a writer based on his brand worth. They should be, if they can implement this plan successfully, it will give a chance for new writers to publish their novels, because otherwise, it is really tough for a new writer to market his book, right? Because he doesn't have any brand value. And not only that, with this plan, they also had the guts to announce on what are the next four books or five books that they'll be available in the next month for the readers, including, not only they were giving the titles, they were giving the writer names, they were getting giving the release dates. So, which is a humongous task for any publisher, because knowing the writer's whims and fancies, some writer will give you ahead of time, some writer will ask for more extension, some writer will not even turn up, will not even pick up your call. Considering all that, it is like walking on a tightrope. But still, see, MN Rao Garu has promised no, to his readers that he will be giving so many books, five books or six books every month, and he should publish regularly, meet all his deadlines. And he should bear all the postage charges also to send these books to the reader, which was in fact enticing all the readers to buy, I mean, join. And there was a time where people in each and every household used to not only join HLP plans for the sake of pocket books, for the sake of Pusaka Prapancham and all that stuff, they used to enter, I mean, they should give this plan as a gift after paying the fees to the newly wedded people, to the small kids, everybody. In fact, one of the incident which comes up as a part of his biography is that after APBD book house was opened, one family was really in search of their kids literature, and they were not able to get any kids books anywhere. So they were like, except few Russian books here and there, but none of these books, Russian books, are talking about the Indian culture and traditions. So they came in search of books for their kid into APBD of premises in Secunderabad. And the moment they stepped in, they saw such a huge number of books in one shelf for their kid, and their kid was just jumping with joy. The, and that day, it so happened that MN Rao was sitting in the office, in the Secunderabad office, and overseeing some official work. And when he heard this kid's voice, he came out of the office room and to see what is happening, and he could just when he saw the joy in the kid's face about after seeing so many books, that's when he decided that he should expand his the children's books division in his publishing world, and start introducing the Indian culture traditions to the kids in a very simple and straightforward manner, so that the next generation kids will also stay connected to the roots. And in fact, he gave, I mean, then the story normally happens, right? When an old person sees a young girl, what will happen? He pampered her, gave her a lot of gifts and all that stuff. That is not relevant to the today's current topic. While doing all these initiatives, he was not just keeping quiet. He was started working very closely with Federation of Indian Publishers and Booksellers, and he was in fact he that's when he realized, when he started working in the Delhi office, that Telugu people are not just limited to Andhra Pradesh or the Tamil Nadu region, but they are moving just because in search of jobs to all the places across pan India. So these Telugu books have to be exhibited, I mean, sold across pan India. And the best way to be for these books to be sold is only through organizing book exhibitions. So he started organizing book exhibitions across pan India in all the major metros. You can see his photograph in the third national book fair. That is I mean, he started participating from the first national fair itself. This photograph, which we could source it from his old archives, is only from the third national book fair, talking to all the big people, big wigs of the publishing industry from the government side, and started arranging book fairs in not only in Delhi, Calcutta, Mumbai, everywhere. And wherever any book fair is there, he ensured that books from APBD will always be put on display. And that's how the Telugu people across pan India were able to procure books. And he was also elected as the president of FIP, that is the Federation of Indian Publishers and Booksellers, twice, once in 1970 and once in 1973 or something like that. You can see them, these people have the Council of the governing body having a meeting in 1970, where you can see Sri MN Rao garu presiding the entire meeting. And he had not only that, in fact, he attended a lot of uh, international book fairs as well. In fact, and he was displaying a lot of Indian books, not only just Telugu books, Indian books from Bengali, Marathi, Hindi, all the books under the Indian book publishers banner. At that point of time, most of the Britishers and Americans got to know about the different initiatives which has taken in the Telugu literary world. They came down to visit MSCO offices between Chennai, in Secunderabad, to understand, deeper into his initiatives, how he was doing it. And then they called him for giving guest lectures across various universities in Germany, Britain, USA, and everybody. And at that point of time, he sees another opportunity to open up a book distribution unit to sell Telugu books abroad in 1970s. Imagine it, my dear friends. Now in the global world, we say that even now we don't get Indian food, we don't get this thing. I mean, we don't get something else from India, and we come down whenever our friends or family come down from USA or some other place. They get so many things, right? Pickles, powders, everything made, and they take it back home to their US or to their respective country. But at that point of time, getting Telugu books was more difficult. People were not worried about the Indian food. So that is the reason why he started the overseas distribution unit as well, London Telugu Book Service, with the help of his British friends, and he used to ship books in the aeroplane, and his own family members used to help him in packing all those books as per the international standards, because those Britishers and Americans came down to APBD offices, inspected how these guys are packing it up, packing these books and sending it to them so that they can sell it in a perfect manner. After passing all those tests, he procured the required licenses to open up the overseas distribution units, which was in fact a tie-up with other Britishers and Americans. And using all his experiences, he has published the book publishing manual, a book for all the book publishers across the world, which was even today referred as the most, no, not prestigious, no, must be read book by different universities who are offering the book publishing course. And after all these things, what happened is he realized that wherever he goes, there are people who doesn't even know most of the Indian culture, Indian traditions and stuff like that. That is when he felt that he needs to introduce MSCO Sampradaya Sahiti, what you call it, the old books which were written in the ancient and medieval India in Sanskrit. They were getting translated into Telugu for a common man to read and understand. So all these books were converted. He has published a lot of books which were translated in the simple Telugu, so that people can read, understand. The common people like you and me can read and understand what those ancient poets and writers had written in the ancient and medieval period in the Indian history. With if your grandparents are able to tell you a lot of stories about Kalidasa, about Krishnadevaraya, about Potana, or some other famous authors, or Shushruta, or Aryabhatta, or Bhanubhatta, then it's all because of from, especially from the Andhra Telugu speaking people, then it's all the gift of Shri MN Rao garu, because of his Sampradaya Sakiti, we people, our grandparents generation had learned a lot about our Indian traditions, cultures, not because of any TV or anything else, my dear friends. And I hope in this current internet world, we definitely require another I mean MN Rao garu, who can really revolutionize the reading habits and give us get us back into our roots and give us the feel and uh, uh, happiness of touching a physical book, because most of us are limited to reading Kindle books these days. We are getting news from Google. We are addicted to OTT platforms, but the reading habit is getting lost in this generation day by day. I hope another MN Rao garu will be born somewhere, sometime, who can take this his journey, his silent revolution once again back in this 2020s, so that he can entice readers back to books. That's all is the story for today. And I just want to tell you one small little secret. Sri MN Rao garu is my grandfather, and I'm very fortunate to be his granddaughter, who has seen him literally doing all these things, publishing. And of course, I had a very limited time of just 5 years spending with him, but his fond memories and the stories which my grandmother, my mother, and my aunts keep telling me has inspired me to do this video. So I have to really say my heartfelt thank you for all my elders in my family who has given so much information about him. And I don't want to kind of tell too much about my personal details here. That's why I'm limiting this video. I hope you like this. If you really want, if Telugu loving people want this video in Telugu, I can also do it at a later date. Till then, bye bye. Take care.